I start out with people's origin stories, from the beginning. Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised Southern California, Van Nuys, San Fernando Valley, suburb of Los Angeles, early 80s, It was a good life back then, man.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your home life. Who'd you grow up with?
I grew up with my mother, aunts, uncle, grandparents. My parents split up at an early age. My dad was a non-vet, served in Vietnam War, quite a few tours, ended up in Cambodia, came back and worked for Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. My mom worked for Jet Propulsion Laboratories. And, obviously neither one could tell each other about how their day was at work, so happy home life then.
Yeah. Any siblings?
None.
None, just
None.
you.
Just an only child.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you went to high school in state, or how long were you there?
Grew up in Southern California all of my life through my high school career. My mom had gotten sick in my earlier high school years, my junior and sophomore years, and then I dropped out to actually take care of her and work on fishing boats, which is my passion.
Gotcha. That's when you started doing fishing boats?
I actually started at knee high.
Oh, gotcha.
But by then I could actually make a legit paycheck on paper.
Gotcha.
I was taking care of my mom's.
Tell me about that. What does that mean?
At a young age, very, very hard. At that age, you want to get out and conquer the world. All your buddies are doing their thing, but you got a sick mom. But that woman was there for you, and let you pursue your passion of fishing. In a big city like LA, a lot of people, with that lifestyle that's evolved there over the years, don't even know that freedom is in their backyard. And I've seen it change a lot of walks of life, from every kind of gang banging you can think of, and where there was bloodshed. Now guys are setting hook at the rail together and cheersing and going their separate ways.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
Well,
let's see. In your late teens, early 20s, where's life take you? Where are you at?
Early 20s. Mom was pretty sick. I had a job offer to run a commercial boat out of Maui through a dear family friend of ours, and I took the job and moved out there and started a family.
Oh.
Yeah, actually met a girl that was from the valley. That was a buddy of mine was letting me take care of his house. He's like, make a few bucks renting the rooms out. He had money, so he's like, I don't care, I'm building a new house, and so I rented the rooms out, and lo and behold, the one girl's sister was from the valley, and 3 kids later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, how old were you around this age?
I was 23 when I had my first son, Nicola.
Oh, young, man, young.
Yeah, you know what, but that, always had a good work ethic and stuff, but that was probably the scariest moment and most proudest moment of my life. Working on fishing boats, being a roughneck, I'm a dying breed at my age now. We're few and far between, the level of skills that guys, even myself, there's maybe a handful of guys that I would actually work with, and it's sad to see that get lost, in today's times, so I really, really try to instill that into our youth.
But you said having your son.
Having my son, was that turning point of, do I want to stay out and party tonight and drink that fifth with the guys, or get my ass home and do good, and that led me into the oil and gas industry, working for some of the biggest and most sought after Fortune 500 companies that, Halliburton, Shell, Chevron, some of the big offshore supply companies, such as Harvey Gulf International, and Schwest Offshore, Hornbeck Offshore, that are actually the backbone of our country, that I don't think the average American even knows that without that boat fleet, nobody'd be driving their car.
Interesting, yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's those guys, like myself and others, and I was actually on the BP spill on the Ocean Victory when it went up. I was actually on my off time, and fought that fire for 3 days, lost 13 good friends, but that is unfortunate, but all for corporate greed. All for corporate greed and the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And when those bonuses were offered to our guys, which is funny, an actor, Mark Wahlberg, kudos to you, Wahlberg, man, way to go, brother. And everybody, who produced the movie, Ocean, about that, My son actually rented it from a Redbox. I couldn't even get through the movie. It was produced so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, my aunt Lily LaRocco, one of the biggest ballers at Warner Brothers Studios these days, started at the bottom and is right up at the top nowadays. So you know, you know, through all the filmmaking quality and yourself, man, kudos to you, man.
Oh, thanks.
You know, it takes it to get it out there, man.
Yeah, that industry is a beast.
It is.
Well, let's see. You were in Maui, you said?
Yeah.
For how long were you guys there?
I was there quite a few years, man. I was there quite a few years until
Had all 3 kids there.
Negative.
Okay.
Being a sailor, man, I got a kid in every port.
Okay.
You know, I got my little Maui baby, you know, who's bigger than me these days, you know, and my dearest daughter Milana, who's passed, and she was my little desert rat when I was visiting my mom in Prescott.
In Arizona.
Yeah, and then that's when I was offered an oil field position in South Louisiana and took it, and had my youngest son there.
Gotcha. Let's see. Well, how far apart were your kids?
They're stair steps, a year apart.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, one after another, man.
You said so.
3.
2 girls?
2 boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl.
Yeah.
What were their names?
Nicola is my oldest son. Milana was my daughter, and Luca is the youngest. Yeah. Also raised 4 stepkids that I never call my stepkids. I loved them like they were my own.
Oh, right on.
But you know.
So this person that you met in Maui, you married?
Negative.
And just connected with your partner?
Connected issues good, but you know, unfortunately, you know, people have their demons. You know,
Yeah.
good woman just wasn't ready for that commitment of going all the way through it, man. With the, you know, it just had her demons.
Yeah, sometimes it
You
just
know.
doesn't work out, which is totally fine.
You know what? And you know
fine.
what? I wish nothing but good for her. I
great.
don't even know if that woman knows her kids are passed.
You haven't spoken to her in that long.
Haven't spoken to her in that long. It's been 5 years now. In May, this is my lady, Kelsey.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and 5 years now, and they didn't even let me give my daughter a service. So,
Well, tell me more about that. What does that mean? They didn't even let you?
well, you know, when you are raised through a family that, you know, my family built a major city, every bit of infrastructure of the city of Los Angeles, major things. We have our family church overlooks downtown. You know, we come from a deep line, you know, from Eastern Europe, and you know, we made a lot of prosperity there, all the way out through Canyon Country, Santa Clarita, you know, Saugus, Newhall, the development, and even out into Vegas when it bloomed in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, that was nothing but just dirt around that strip. You know, my cousin Greg Mikos came up with the bypass bridge there, you know, after the 9/11 thing. You know, so kudos to you, Greg, and stuff. But you know, when your family has served this country for generation after generation, war after war, you know, not because they chose to, because at that time World War I, maybe some of them went on their own account, but they were already in Europe at that time. You know what I mean? World War II, all 5 of my grandfather and his brothers were drafted, and that was before the Sullivan Act. They all came home. What a miracle.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather was at Pearl Harbor when it was bombed, and Guadalcanal, major battles.
He's in the Navy?
Negative, he was Army.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, he was basically the first epitome of special forces, basically. Those guys, they never saw a jungle before. They came out of cornfields in Iowa and shit, you know? So, you know, I always figured if I was half the man that he was, I was doing something right, you know? And, you know, I raised my children with that old school love that, you know, I come to find out in this country, 2 things. God forbid, don't be honest, which, man, I can't live my life that way. I'm sorry. And don't be honest, and God forbid, don't pass judgment on a fellow man. You know, who is it for somebody to come in my house, like for my instance, and unfortunate because they get such a bad rap. They have a place in this society, and I'm going to name this out as Child Protective Services, okay, has a place in our society to do good and provide a service for our people. But yet they don't fucking exist, excuse my language. But they do not exist, but they're backed by a judicial system. Well, we're taught as Americans to tell the truth, the whole, and so help you God, whatever. And my family built churches in Los Angeles. We're pagan by nature. We choose Christianity, because of bloodshed over the years. I mean, you get it. And, the biggest killer out there is the church. Let's be real with it.
There's parts of you that I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And I got no problem saying it, and the thing is that when somebody comes and passes judgment on you for being honest, and then comes in your home because you let them in your home because you don't know what's going on, but at the time I did. I had gotten all custody of all 3 of my kids from my first relationship through CPS because of what had happened in that situation.
Okay.
And even though I was offshore on an oil rig, I still had to prove myself as a good parent, and I did, and got full custody of my 3 children and raised them as a single parent, fucking oil field worker and commercial fisherman. That's a fucking hard thing to do, brother. That is next to impossible to do. I don't know any other guys that have done it. If they were making buku money already, they might have been able to afford something or had family help. I didn't. And I got nothing but back. I even had some of my dearest friends name their kids after me. I couldn't be more honored, man. Here I looked up to them and they said, no, little brother, we looked up to you, man. I was like, man, that's touching, man. I don't even talk to my brothers anymore, man. I haven't talked to anybody I fucking know in 5 years, man. I've been kept on a Navy base, and when I mean tormented, man, you got to understand that just feeds my beast, because it's all I know.
I'm trying to follow a little bit here. So you have 3 kids.
3 kids.
How many passed away?
Milana for sure, because I was right there holding her when they pulled the plug on her. They gave me 2 days, and they told me she hung herself. As a father, as a parent, no man wants to come in there and see that shit, right, brother? So the first thing I do is pull that little gown down to see the mark, right? No mark, thinking weird.
How old was she?
She was 12, just about to turn 13. She wrote a letter. I asked to see the letter, never saw the letter. There was another kid. At that time, I had left my house to better my family because of turmoil in my house. The pandemic was going on. It was a change of pace for everybody, being cooped up together for, I can imagine, many, many families, and, being a sport fisherman and commercial fisherman, I really didn't think I was going to be able to do my job with social distancing. So I became a trash man, and figured, fuck, if I'm going to be the first to die anyway, I'm taking out everybody's snot rags, and it was weird. It was eerie times. It was definitely different. But if you sat back and you watched and you paid attention to what was going on and what was being said, it painted a story. And a lot of things went on at that time. Our country is very, very desperate for people to support it. And we can thank ourselves for its demise. We sold ourselves out. We're hypocrites. Big time.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Very big time. And I'm very, very proud to be an American, man.
Yeah.
I was raised, speaking, Slav. And, my Jeddo, which means grandfather, he says, you're Slav. He said, but you're American. You're born here. He said, outside, he said, you want to speak Slav in the house, speak Slav at church, speak Slav with other Slavs, I don't care. He said, but outside these doors, you speak English, you're American. And there was a tremendous amount of pride, with the things that I went through, which were extremely extensive, and my background and teachings that have been self-taught. I had a gentleman sit down with me not long ago, an Indian friend of mine, Mike Charles, and Mikey, hope you're doing good. Mikey looked at me and he knew things. He was actually the 3rd Indian that they gave me. Not to be racist, but it was funny, but it was true. I was like, man, none of you guys can hold your liquor, but a dear friend of mine, and was there for me and my lady, till his incarceration, I guess. I don't know what happened with him.
Gotcha.
I haven't seen him since. It's been a couple months now, and or so. But Mikey asked me one day. He said, "Hey, Captain." I said, "What's up?" He said, He said, so, Navy SEALs and your special forces, he said, those things are designed to fail you. He said, so was it beaten into you or are you self-taught? I said, self-taught, Mikey. He said, that's rare, man. And he knew things. His dad was a non-vet as well. And I've seen it bring a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life through my travels here. That was extensively on foot and...
Well, were you ever in the service? Did you ever?
Negative.
Fishing,
Merchant
fishing.
mariner,
Gotcha.
Homeland Security. I had actually, it's a funny thing, salty crew. There you go. That right there, that hoodie right there. To me, man, I'm like, I'm gonna find out who that motherfucker is when I'm done with this. You understand? Because I pretty much started that shit. I know all the Groms that did start that and made beer and have fucking made a buku bucks. And they're my little proteges, brother. They grew up on my fishing boats going, hey Cap, and I'm going, fuck, and they wanted to work deck for me, and started that outfit, man. Kudos to them, brother. Fucking solid bunch of kids, man. Hope they're rocking it in this new world, man. Everybody's finding their niche, but
we're trying.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Nobody asks to be on the streets. Nobody get asked to be stripped of what they have. Nobody asks for their family to be destroyed or whatever the hell it may be.
Did you ever have to live on the streets?
Oh, absolutely, man. Eat out of dumpsters, man. Eat poisoned, shot, stabbed,
Well, tell me
mauled
about
by
that.
dogs.
How did that happen, and why did that happen?
Growing up in LA, man, I gotta say this. I grew up in an Eastern Orthodox family that was pretty powerful. The mob days aren't what they used to be, right? The Hispanic culture there is deep, and I have a huge heart for them. Some of my dearest friends are Hispanic, and from all over, but it all boils down to respect at the end of the day, and family, and if family sticks together and people are solid with each other, which typical American family, you can forget that, man. There is no camaraderie. There is no being there for each other anymore. Modern day things like cell phones and stuff like that, I can honestly say were a huge demise of our people, worldwide. When you couldn't come into your home anymore, and it wasn't just me, I watched it happen to many people I knew before it happened to me. I was, and I thought, man, this is fucked. These people are screwed. There was no family life anymore. There was no, socializing. There was nothing important to say anymore.
Definitely changed with the cell phone.
Oh, huge.
In a major way.
Huge.
And I also think there's a lot of people that have noticed that change and are really fighting for that, the family.
The thing is, man.
Boundaries around telephones.
Yes.
Or cell phones.
Oh, I think so, because I think that they, whether they were blind to it or just naive to it, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's new. It was just
new
technology, right?
Technology. We grew up too big for our own good.
Yeah, that's right. But back to the question of when did you become unhoused?
I became unhoused, returning to doing what I love. I had gone through a battle with CPS that I was going through. I wasn't working my normal job. I'd given up $100,000 season, to be at home with my family. The whole COVID thing happened. And when CPS stepped into my house, that woman had no regard for why she was there, and that really bothered me. She wanted to throw the use of drugs in my face because I admitted drug use. Never have I been caught, charged, or anything. I don't even have a parking ticket on my record, man. That's says something. It means I've done something right all those years. Am I an angel? Hell no. But brother, I try. I put 1/4 in. I'd give the shirt off my back to somebody. I don't care. It could be worse, man. I could go without. Trust me. If you need it that bad, have it. And when that system wouldn't listen to me at all, but wanted me to comply with them, I'll do anything you ask of me. I said, but I'm not going to do anything through the Catholic Church. I said, I'm Serbian Orthodox. Period, end. I said, you want to do a rehab thing or whatever the hell you think I might need? I said, I'll go for it, even though that's not why you're here. I said, but I want it done through this. They wouldn't have it. They destroyed my family. So I left my house on my own account to better my family. I looked at my partner at the time. I said, I'm going to leave this house with nothing. I said, I'm going to come back with something. So I walked from Prescott, Arizona to the ass end of Phoenix. I stayed down there on the streets, even though growing up in LA wasn't a silver spooner. We were poor kids, and just typical valley kids, man. And
how long did that last?
3 days, man. Three days in 120-degree heat, living in a parking lot of a Burger King in downtown Phoenix, in between the Greyhound, in a shithole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a big black guy who just got out the pen there, pimping out some white girl, doing his thing, whatever, man. He was from Torrance, and we talked. He said, damn, Wood, you're all right, man. He said, get yourself a hungry man, man. He's giving me all kinds of snacks. I was hungry, man. I didn't have shit, didn't have 10 cents to my name. I left with an empty pocket. And I walked all the way back. That was probably at least 40 miles, I'd say, across the city of Phoenix from south to north. And then all the way back toward Prescott, where I ran into a little old man running a tractor at a church on the side of the highway. I yelled through the chain link fence. I said, hey, mister. He came over in his little tractor. And he said, can I help you? I said, look, mister, I said, I got to get 20 miles up this hill to a little town called Mayer, where I live. I said, I'll work for you all day today and all day tomorrow. I said, for a ride up this hill, 15 minutes. He's like, deal. He said, do you know anything about landscaping? I said, every aspect. He said, looks like you're moving rock. He says, I am. I said, how much you got? And he said, I got 30 tons to move. I said, perfect. I said, you go fill your bucket, dump it where you want it. I'll have it spread waiting for your next one. He said, deal. 29 tons of rock that afternoon, and saved 1 ton for that Friday morning. And the man gave me a ride home, handed me $600 and said, I'll give you a place to stay. I've been in business 40 years in Phoenix. I got a shop down there. He said, stay with me, stay at the shop, make it yours, for the week, and I'll take you home on the weekends. Give you $600 a week. Yeah. I took the job. Okay. I came home proud as hell, man. Okay. Because I left, I did what I said I was going to do. Didn't matter. It didn't mean shit. Yeah. Nothing meant anything.
To CPS, you mean?
CPS, to the woman I was with, who and you know what, to each his own, man. But my family is my family. We were never married, and when the tragedy had happened with my daughter, I'd been working for the man I just told you about for about a year, and I just, something was weird, going on, and because of CPS being involved, there was no communication with my kids anymore. I had not talked to my kids or heard their voices since I left that house. It's been over 5 years.
Yeah, long time.
Long time, brother. And all I wanted to do was give my daughter a service, man. Even had her baptized by the Serbian priest from St. Sava, Phoenix, Arizona, which my family built St. Sava as well in San Gabriel, on San Gabriel Boulevard. We also have St. Stephen's overlooking downtown Los Angeles, and my last name Stevens, and a lot of history there. Yeah. And I did that for a reason. For one, it's my heritage. I wanted her baptized. She passed away. This man watched me let my daughter go, right? That woman never even held my hand, man. Never even shed a tear. Something weird there, man. Something weird there. And you know what? That very moment when I let her go, I was filled with hate, brother. When I mean filled with hate, I was coming for everybody, man. And I mean coming for them, coming for their kids. I was gonna come for everyone, and I called it out. And they shut me down, man. They shut me down big time, but then they did their homework, man. Then they did their homework, and they realized, man, this man's already fucking dangerous. He's already lost everything. His training is next to nothing. I was certified search and water, advanced rescue at the age of 13 by a Navy SEAL.
What brought you to Seattle?
That beautiful woman that was just sitting here.
Gotcha.
She got wrapped up in a human trafficking thing. Guys claimed some big shit, sat down and said they were going to whore her out and kill me. And these are white dudes claiming white boy shit. You know what I mean? And calling big shit out. And I said, whoa. I said, first and foremost, I know guys that roll like that, and I assure you they don't roll that way, man. So kudos to the boys that roll. Man, do your thing, man. You know, that's your thing. You know.
But you met her.
I met her there. She was standing on the dock I work at all these years. She was new.
Los Angeles?
In San Diego.
In San Diego.
Yeah.
And then
I work up and down the coast.
Gotcha. Then you guys came up here.
Yeah. She had just moved down there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, from Oregon.
And your current situation, you're on a boat?
Again.
Wow. Sounds like you've been on a boat your whole life, more or less.
I have. You know, for her, it's very new. You know,
living on a boat, to clarify.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We live them, we work them. It's definitely a lifestyle, not a fashion. You know.
Gotcha.
And that woman right there, I've seen go through hell and high water, under the rotor wash of Blackhawks while they're pulling dive ops out, and nobody says shit to her. I couldn't be more proud, man. You know, there's a lot of animosity in me and hatred in me that I don't let consume me. The very minute I let her go, I chose, not in a biblical sense, you know, but I think if more people took the Bible, for instance, okay, which, here, hats off to the Jews, all right? I'm gonna say this, all right? They have an incredible gift for storytelling. They have an incredible gift for storytelling, and they have an incredible gift of keeping records, okay? So if you take that Bible, man, and you take it for what it is, not what Christianity has portrayed it as, then
we did talk about the church earlier.
Right. Well, but my family's pagan. You know, we adopted it to spare ourselves from the Roman Catholic Church, who I just wanted my religion to back me.
Yeah.
Which isn't that what our country promotes?
Well,
equal rights?
Freedom
of religion?
Yeah, promotes a lot of things.
Promotes a lot of shit.
Yeah, but
right.
Well, cool, man. It's good to hear your story.
But you know, I called that out and it shut me down, man.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they did their homework and realized, hey, man, this boy's telling the truth. You know, but when you're in a big concrete jungle now, right, and you got people standing around you going, take a good look around you, man. This place is built like a prison. They said, prisons for punishment. Jails for punishment. This is rehabilitation. And then I came here. When I first landed here, first got our boat, a man stood next to me and told me the same words. With a big Roddy, after I had just been mauled and attacked by every damn fucking Belgian Malinois, pit bull. And I just want to know off the record, man, why the guys get the padded suits, because I never got one. Okay, no. I got a 16-foot great white named Lola. Thanks, honey. Okay, which would gladly knock me off my board that I was allowed to be on 20 hours a day and 4 hours of dry time. I was given every military uniform from dress blues to combat gear and lived in a ghillie suit on a base in an active, thriving major metropolitan city, right in front of people, and disappeared like a ghost in front of some of the most elite.
Yeah. Jacob, it's good to hear your story,
you know,
man.
It goes a lot deeper, man, and hopefully we can have another chapter.
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I got to take a couple photos and grab that
good.
little mic.
You can have them, man. Like I said, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?